It's big dog season, and you can't stay still because you want it. Talk that talk, George. You still scraping your plate because you're hungry. Talk that talk.
Learned a U.S. airman from Atlanta was killed in a shooting by a Florida sheriff's deputy. He's been identified as 23-year-old senior airman Roger Fortson. He was in his off-base home when this happened. According to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department, it happened late Friday night when a deputy responded to a call about a disturbance in progress and came across an armed man. The deputy fired at Fortson who later died. Law enforcement called it self-defense, but attorneys for Fortson's family says there is much more to this story. They say Fortson was on a FaceTime call as this all happened. That person says that he answered a knock at the door. When nobody responded, he got his gun. The family's attorney says he was returning to the living room when police burst through the door and shot him 6 times. That witness claims the deputy was at the wrong home and Fortson was home alone. The attorney says Fortson, a graduate of McNair High School in DeKalb, joined the military after graduating with honors and has no criminal history. The deputy has been placed on administrative leave, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is now investigating. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump has taken this case. He and his team will be joining the Fortson's family for a news conference this morning as they're calling for transparency and the release of all the body camera footage.
Later this morning, the family of a U.S. airman will publicly call for answers about the police shooting that took his life.
Allison is here now with the details on what we know about this so far.
23-year-old Roger Fortson was killed last weekend. We know that. The Air Force says he was a senior airman deployed with the Special Operations Wing at Hurlburt Field in Florida, and he died at his off-base apartment. A local sheriff's department says a deputy was responding to a disturbance call when he encountered an armed man and shot him. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says that Fortson was on a FaceTime call with a woman. According to Crump, she says that Fortson was alone when someone knocked on the door, but when he asked who was there was no response. After a much more aggressive knock a few minutes later, Fortson checked the peephole but didn't see anyone. And that's when the woman says that he became concerned. He got his gun, which he owned legally. Then deputies burst through that door, saw him with the gun, and fired. According to Crump, the woman said there was no disturbance during her call with Fortson, and she believes deputies went to the wrong apartment. The lawyer, Ben Crump, issued a statement. In part, it says, quote, "We are calling for transparency in the investigation into Roger's death and the immediate release of body cam video to the family. His family and the public deserve to know what occurred," end quote. Now, the deputy who shot Airman Fortson has been placed on administrative leave. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the local state attorney's office will investigate this shooting.
As it will provide updates throughout the day. In Pensacola, Brent Carney, WEAR News.
Last Friday's officer-involved shooting in Okaloosa County left a 23-year-old senior airman dead. Roger Fortson was stationed at Hurlburt Field. He was shot and killed in his apartment in Fort Walton Beach. And today, we received the dispatch calls that day, which shine more light on what happened. But questions remain about what led deputies to Fortson's apartment in the first place. Now Fortson's family has hired a prominent civil rights attorney, claiming deputies may have gone to the wrong apartment. Tanner Stewart joining us in the studio now. And Tanner, you also spoke with Okaloosa County's NAACP spokesperson today who has some thoughts on this as well.
That's right, Bob. Okaloosa NAACP says they're hopeful the body cam video will be released to the public. Their president telling me there are many questions left to be answered. Within 6 minutes of dispatch receiving a call, Okaloosa County deputies reported shooting 23-year-old Roger Fortson. Fortson, a senior airman in the U.S. Air Force, was assigned to the 4th Special Operations Squadron. He entered active duty in November of 2019. The sheriff's office says a deputy acted in self-defense that Friday afternoon after hearing sounds of a disturbance inside Fortson's apartment. The sheriff's office reports Fortson was allegedly armed with a gun after the deputy identified himself as law enforcement. Listen as dispatch calls reveal how many times deputies believe Fortson was shot.
Multiple gunshot wounds to the chest. Blackmail.
Blackmail, multiple gunshot wounds to the chest.
Gunshot wounds in the chest, 1 exit wound. Okay, 2 times. Shot 6 gunshot wounds.
This afternoon, nationally renowned civil rights attorney Ben Crump was retained by the Fortson family. Crump writes witnesses say Roger Fortson was alone in his apartment when he heard a knock on the door and asked who is it, but didn't get a response. A few minutes later, Crump says there was an aggressive knock on the door, but Roger didn't see anyone on the other side. Crump writes Fortson grabbed his firearm and was shot as he was walking back to the living room as police burst through the door. Crump says witnesses say police were in the wrong apartment. Crump isn't the only one requesting the release of that video.
I'm just concerned as to what happened and why it happened and how it happened. We've been told that the investigation has been turned over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and so we're going to remain engaged to the outcome of that investigation. And this one tells me that there may be a little bit more to it than meets the eye right now.
One organization following the case closely is the Okaloosa NAACP. Their president, Sabu Williams, tells me their hopeful body cam video will be released for the public to get insight on what exactly happened.
We certainly share our grievances with not only with his family, but even with his coworkers and friends that he knew here in the community. We have been very much involved, and we've spoken with base commanders and other officials here in our community, to include our sheriff's office.
Williams says the Okaloosa NAACP feels strongly that this isn't an open and shut case. The sheriff's office released a statement announcing the deputy involved was immediately placed on administrative leave and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has taken over the case. The state attorney's office will also conduct their own review. We reached out today to the sheriff's office as well as Hurlburt Field. They directed us to their previous statements.
And you can read that latest statement from Ben Crump on our website, WEARTV.com. Crump's announced he'll be addressing the media tomorrow morning in Fort Walton Beach, along with Roger Fortson's family. We'll bring you that coverage tomorrow. In the studio, I'm Tanner Stewart.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, May 9th. The year is 2024. As you can hear, Grayson and Ginger are out running around. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. I saw this story and I wanted to say something, report this, because I hadn't seen it on the local news. I did find a video that shows where this was reported locally here in Atlanta, and it should be nationwide. You have a young 23-year-old man in Air Force who's in Air Force, minding his business in his own apartment, doing nothing, when he's shot dead by Fort Walton police, who went to the wrong apartment, kicked in the door without any cause, no warrant. How can you? I'm just very confused how a police officer can just go someplace and kick in the door and shoot the person inside of there, and there's no danger going on. This man had he was a legal gun owner in the state of Alabama, which is the state that, like Georgia, has laws that everyone can own a gun. But they kicked in his door. I have a little device I need to show you all that I put on all my doors here at the house. It's so people can't kick in the doors. And when I had my doors installed, I had to put new doors on this house. I had these braces put in place. These doors cannot be kicked in. In between the braces that are installed in this early in the morning. The devices that hold the door, swing the doors open, and then once the doors swing into the house, I also have this device that I put on there. It's a stick. You obviously that. So you put it under to keep people from being able to kick in the doors. I've done that in every place I've always lived. As soon as I walk in the door, I put those things out. I'll put them on the doors to keep. Let me just grab it, because you know what I'm talking about. Y'all seen this thing before. I have a whole bunch of them. Let me just grab it. Move. Move. Every home, every apartment I've lived, I have this device. You hook it under the doorknob. This goes under the doorknob, and it braces the floor, and this goes against the bottom of the floor. And it keeps people from being able to just kick in the damn door. $20. I got one on every door in this house. I walk in. Well, of course, you can't put it on you, but I walk into the house, I put it on the door before I go to bed at nighttime. You're just a landlord. You don't know what the fuck going on around here. You know this might be a safe neighborhood, like this young man in Fort Walton Beach in his own home in a safe neighborhood, and the motherfuckers then kicked in the door and shot and killed him in his own apartment, then trying to pretend like they ain't done nothing. His name was, they have an attorney down there, Ben Crump, thank goodness. For 23 years, and he's from Atlanta. His guy's name was Roger Fortson. And this is what happened to Roger Fortson at his Fort Walton Beach apartment. According to the sheriff's office, authorities were called to his apartment at 4:30 p.m. On Friday, May 30, in reference to an apparent disturbance. Once the deputy arrived on the scene, the official said he acted in self-defense after he encountered a 23-year-old man armed with a gun encountered. You kick in the damn door to this man's home. You kicked in this door. For no reason. The office does not share details on what kind of disturbance deputies responded to. What was this disturbance that gave you the right to kick in this man's door? I'm just trying to figure this out. Y'all, go your ass up to Walmart and get this damn device. If you live in an apartment, put this on your door. They also have another device that I've always used too. It's a little bit more cumbersome, but it attaches into the studs in the wall around the door, and you slide it in place on both sides of the door. But you'd have to, that requires a little bit more work, but it's just as secure. You can't kick that motherfucker in either. Who would have ever thought that you in your own home? I mean, how many times have we seen a young man in his own home shot by the police and they pretend that this was just, remember that guy in Texas when she went to the wrong apartment? The police officer, she was going home and she just so happened to walk into the wrong apartment. Y'all better look at this device. I got it on all my doors in this house. I secure it every night. It just slides under the doorknob and you just kick it in place. They won't be able to kick in that damn door. And like I say, the other one is the device where you put two hooks on both sides and you put that board in the middle. Do we have to live like this in our own homes? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You have to protect yourself. This man in his own home. They were able to kick that door in and stuff. See, that's one thing about living in apartments I never cared because the doors are so flimsy. That's why I always go get them when I was living in apartments. And like I said, it's $20. This might have saved his life. They wouldn't have been able to kick in the door so quickly and just kicked in the door. Go get this today. Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. It's adjustable. It's adjustable. You just get to fit the door, and it's so easy to put together. A child can put this together. And to put it on the door is very simple. Every door in my house, for a reason. People crazy today. And just because somebody worked for the police department don't mean they got much sense. I want to know the officer who did this, when they're going to release his camera. You know, they just paid, in Atlanta, they just paid out a settlement of $3.8 million to a police officer, a police officer tased and ended up killing a pastor here, a 68 or 70-year-old man here in Atlanta. The city of Atlanta went on settlement for $3.8 million. No, that man's life can't come back. And clearly this man at 23 years of age was very young. You can't even put a price on his damn life. So, listen. They want them to release the footage of what happened there. Because this young man was on a FaceTime call when this all took, when he was shot and killed. Don't get on my camera. Oh, you might get on my nerves, Grayson. Hey, good morning. There's no food up here. There's nothing to eat. Nothing to eat. Nothing to eat up here. What do you want? Ginger's down there. You should be just running around playing with her, but you're harassing me this morning. Why? Why? Go play with Ginger. Y'all down there. Yeah, they're going to have to release that video and see what happened. What gave this? I still don't understand. What gave this officer the right to kick in that door? I don't get that. What gave him the right to kick in that door and shoot that man in his own home? And then say, okay, everything's fine. What? Even the airman in the military is not safe. This is crazy. Well, I wanted to just bring this to you all's attention, because I know a lot of y'all might not have heard about this. But this young man who's from Atlanta should never have died under these circumstances. It has happened Friday, May 3rd in Fort Walton Beach. This is going to be a short video because I have somebody arriving here at this house and I just got back in town. I don't know any damn hiccups. But I wanted to bring this to you all's attention and get you all's thoughts and opinions of it. And let me conclude this so I can finish what I need to do over here before the person arrives here. But watch those news articles, and I'll leave I'm going to put a link so you can read it. They can't get away with this one. This is ridiculous. This man was in the safety of his own home. This should never, ever have happened. And I'm out of here, and I'll speak to you all later.